I'm telling you, I've been looking forward to this one. We're making another tier list today, and it could be my favorite country in Eurovision coming up today. This is Greece, and there are 28 entries from the year 1993 until 2022. And I'm looking forward to placing them within these seven categories that we have on this tier list. And also looking forward to seeing where we might disagree with each other, because I'm sure there will be a few places on this one. But as I said, this is a country that I think is among the top tier of countries in terms of Eurovision. Basically, I think we're gonna have a lot of high scoring songs here today, and since there's so many of them, I think we're just gonna start right away. And in 1993, it's a long title about Elada something, so I'm not gonna bother trying to say it, but it is a really great entry, on the border to fantastic in my opinion. I'm gonna throw it up here. This is just so engaging. I love the rhythms that just stack on top of each other here. The instrumentation is absolutely what sets it apart from so many other songs. Greece kind of have a shortcut to just making incredible instrumentations, because they have such a unique catalog of instruments that they sometimes use when they want to stick to their own kind of identity within music. And I think this one just nails that whole vibe completely, while also using these instruments and the instrumentation that they're going for here to their advantage, while establishing the rhythms, establishing the melodies, and building the entire song piece by piece together. It kind of just becomes this whole complete journey of sorts, with different takes, and just this kind of own setting that the song has, which sets it apart, really just establishes that straight from the get-go, and you just follow along and really enjoy it. That's at least how I feel about it. Also, a very visually appealing performance. It's very charismatic, very inviting. So I love every second of it. I have to I have to put it up here. So it's a good start for Greece here. However, the good start is short-lived, because in 1994 they sent Diri Diri or Dili Dili or something like that. This is just not for me. It's straight up way too happy, way too upbeat, and also really repetitive in its chorus, which just makes me annoyed by it. So it just doesn't work for me. I think that maybe some people could find it charming, and it is a summery song. It is happy. It is harmless. I guess you could argue, but at the same time, I just get straight up annoyed listening to it. I think the hook is mind-numbingly annoying, which just kills the whole thing for me. It has this charming tone. It's very, summery beach vibe, but it just kills it when they start singing this hook. So not for me, not at all, I gotta say. But in 1995, they redeemed themselves. If you don't know, this is one of my favorite Eurovision songs of all time, Pia Prosefyi. Just the most immaculate type of world building you could put into a song, really, in my humble opinion. It's like the whole atmosphere that's being set right from the get-go is magical with the synth work, and then you have this whole instrumentation that just kicks in with the fantastic melodies that just build on and on each other, and also how the melody, it has a varied sound to it, because at parts we have instruments playing it, at parts it's the vocal melody that takes over. It just has this constant. It's a very constant melody that keeps returning, but it does it so effectively every time, because it comes in with just the right amount of impact, I think. And it also just works in the whole setting of the song. It's a very atmospheric, and it's a very atmospheric song with a lot of ambiance, which I just really think works for this song, because you really get dragged into what they're building here. There's just this specific sound to everything here. It's like yeah, I don't know. The atmosphere is just something so tangible that I just get completely hooked and dragged into it. Also, like the way that it's staged. It's visually very appealing, while also just having the most blessed of sounds that I can imagine. It's a song that I love. I love listening to it every single time. I can't get enough of it. It also has a lovely progression towards the end where it keeps evolving, and you just feel like the final chorus really ties everything together really well. That's at least how I feel about it. I think it's perfectly written, but what really sets it apart for me is just that the whole style and the setting of the song works so well for me and my personal taste. Love it to bits, I really do. Among the greatest Eurovision songs of all time, I gotta say. That's my humble opinion on that one. 1996 didn't quite follow suit. This one is a bit more non-Greek, can we say that? It's still in Greek, but it feels a bit more standardized. I think the instrumentation isn't too interesting. The main hook of the song isn't really that interesting either, but it still has an upbeat charm to it. I think it's a solid entry altogether. It's well performed, and it's just, it's all right in every area. I really do think so. But I don't think it's much more than that. So I'll have to place it here. And in 1997, they go back to the more Greek type of songs, I guess, chorepse, and this is a really great one in my opinion. I really just get dragged into the whole setting of these types of songs. That's really what sets them apart, and maybe why I'm such a big fan of the Greek songs most of the time. Um, this one has a memorable hook, but I think mainly what sets it apart is the instrumentation and the instrumental over the song. Also, quite a charming way of songwriting. It's very playful, um, especially how it progresses throughout. Just a lot of things to kind of take in and enjoy, and just tag along for the ride. I think for the 3 minutes that this goes on, and it's very charming. Yeah, I think it's a really great entry. I really do. But however, in 1998, that didn't stick around for long. So this, yeah, I don't really know what to say about this one. It's just not for me. It's very forgettable, which is a shame because 1998 is a really strong year in my opinion, and I like a lot of the songs. And then it becomes kind of weird because Greece is usually Greece is always a country that I can rely on. I feel like when you watch every Eurovision, I always feel like, okay, Greece. I'm excited to hear what they have to offer. And I remember the first time I watched the contest in '98, I was so disappointed with this one because I was I was getting hyped up for a Greek entry, and then this comes on. Um, it's quite underwhelming in most aspects, I think. It tries to be a bit rock inspired, but I think that it's quite mellow for being a rock inspired song. The guitars don't really hit that hard. The drumming isn't very energetic. The vocal style isn't really engaging either. I just kind of get disappointed with. I mean, if they set out to do an approach like this, then they need to go all the way with it. I think this sounds more like a half attempt to being like packing in some attitude to a pretty standardized pop song, and then just not really going anywhere with it. That's kind of just the feeling that I get from this song, so it's just not for me. Simple as that. 2001, however, fantastic. Just an iconic, memorable pop song from the Greek land of Greece. It's just one of these hooks that really sticks to your head. It's rhythmically really engaging. I like the intonation of the melody, especially in the chorus. Also, nice flow between chorus and verses in this song. The drum machine is being used effectively throughout, while combining it with this very typically Greek instrumentation. It's just a nice combination to have, this club-like drum machine beat with a more folk and like older type of instrumentation. I think that's kind of what the group Antique really went for when they made it big, and just this combination really works. It creates a very summery feel while also having like a traditional input and also this modern input while also being like a bit summery. I hope that makes sense. That's really what the feeling that I get from them, and I think Die For You is probably among their best songs, and it's performed really well as well. I think everything just works here, and I think the instrumental plays a key part in that, really. But it doesn't hurt to have a memorable hook either, so, full marks. And then, ooh, yeah, Sagapo. This is just so odd. You go from Die For You, and then this comes along. It's not that it could easily be one of these songs that you just think, what happened here? but I think it's so charming at the same time. But I kind of have to put it down here because I don't get it. It's so absurd, like all of the ideas with the clothing. I don't know what to call it. They look very buff, I guess. This kind of industrial look and everything with the gray blue scale of color and the black suits with the big shoulder pads or whatever. It's so absurd to look at, and then you have the whole song as well, which is quite monotonous and very static. It's not like it has a lot of melody to it. It's very monotonous, with just repetition of the same words. I think the password is being repeated a lot, and I always kind of chuckle when you just hear the backing vocalist going, the password, the password, the password. Um, yeah, it's a bit funny. I think I don't think the song is supposed to be funny, but I always get a bit of a laugh from it, and I do think it's very charming. But I just have to ask myself what happened here because I don't see who thought this was really a good idea. But at least it's a very memorable entry, I think, from a pretty non-memorable year. So they succeeded in something there. 2003, Never Let You Go, I think it's called, something like that. This is a quite an underwhelming one, I think. There's like a charm to it. There's something in the instrumental I like. I think it's quite energetic as well, while being like a restrained pop song with a pretty mellow sound. It also has some energy to it, so I think I'll place it in the I like it, but because I just don't think that it has really that memorability that I think it wants to have. But I still kind of when the song is on for the 3 minutes, I find some enjoyment in it and I tag along with it, and I just kind of enjoy myself listening to it. But then I never really remember it afterwards, which I think is a big minus. So I think this category fits it pretty well here. Then we have Shake It by Sakis. This is just so far from my type of music. I think it's quite. I don't know. Like it's a very ambitious performance, and it's done for like it follows through its purpose quite well. It knows what it wants to be. It doesn't want to be anything musically engaging. It doesn't want to be anything outstanding in that regard. Instead, they just want to kind of create an upbeat party atmosphere, and I get that. Um, I don't think it's aged particularly well. The hook is quite repetitive or very repetitive, um, and I think the verses are actually quite poor. They're not really very melodically engaging at all, and the chorus is as the chorus is so repetitive that doesn't really offer a lot of melodic interest to me either. So I think that I would put this one. How harsh should I be? I don't know. It's just not for me. But I do see the ambition, and I do see that there's potential in here and something positive. So I'll put it in I like it, but because I do like the kind of the kind of approach that they've taken and what they set out to do, and I admire the effort. I just don't click with it though. So I'll put it down here. Something I do click with is My Number One by Elena Paparizou. Fantastic, just the fantastic pop song, like a perfect pop song. Really, I do think so. Has that traditional sound to it. Really, just works for the whole Greek atmosphere that it wants to establish, while also just being the perfect pop song. I really do think so. Memorable hook with the incorporation of the Mediterranean sound. I think it just works. Maybe it's something that we fall for a bit more up here in Scandinavia and in the north because we always freeze and we want summer in the Mediterranean countries. So we just get dragged into this, at least I do. But I just think that it's perfected in the way that it wants to be. It sets out to do its own thing, and it does it to the fullest. It's not mind-blowingly out there or creative in terms of songwriting or production or anything. It just wants to be a great pop song, and I really do think it is one. Also, fantastic performance. So you just check every box. I really do think so. Great winner as well. I really do think so. And in 2006, they followed up with Everything by Anna Vissi. I like this one as well. I think it's a very pretty ballad and very emotionally hard-hitting as it progresses. I am tempted, but I'm gonna put this one in really great because I think it is really great. I was a bit tempted to put it up in fantastic, but I don't really think the song has the memorability in terms of its in terms of melodic writing. I think the backing track is really strong. It's very emotionally hard hitting, and like the drive that it has in the final part of the song is splendid. I just think it maybe takes a little bit too much time to actually get there, and the first half of the song is a bit underwhelming, perhaps. It's emotionally loaded, but it also doesn't really get going enough, in my opinion, to really get into the higher top echelons of this tier list, I think. But I like the passion and I like the performance a lot. It's a mixed bag of just great stuff and some fantastic stuff, but I'll land in the really great category, I think. In 2007, it's just not for me. I don't know what to say. I mean, I could put it in what happened here because I really dislike it that much. But I'll just go out there and admit instead that it's just not for me. It's not my type of music. I get annoyed by it. I think the vocal performance is incredibly poor. The staging is kind of ambitious, so that's something. The chorus is quite annoying in my opinion. The verses are even more annoying, I think. What is it? First off, she's a lady. This is a lady's world, and you just this vocal kind of characteristic that it has as well. It's so unconvincing, and I get annoyed both watching and listening to it. The less I say, the better, I guess, for this one. Secret Combination, however, this is this is pop banger from the mid 2000s, just a bit light, I guess. If you compare it to my number one, it's just a subpar version to it, in my opinion. It's an ambitious performance again. Like the Greeks really just the performances in the mid 2000s were their thing. This song is catchy. It is very memorable. Has a nice melody to the chorus, I think. Verses are a bit on the mess side for me personally, but still there's something there. However, I don't really see myself being the correct audience for this, and I don't really connect with it. I think there are better pop songs. Even in this year, I think Kele Kele from Armenia is far superior to this one. So I will put it in solid. But again, I like the ambition. Yeah, solid one. 2009, we have Sakis coming back with This Is Our Night. This is kind of, I don't know, a matured Sakis, but still not because of I don't know. This song is just a bit more, I guess it's taken a bit more seriously than the 2004 effort, but at the same time, I just kind of think that it's not really my thing. I think the chorus has a decent melody to it. I think the backing track is quite cool, especially like the opening is really cool with the whole synth work and everything, how it works in introducing the song. Verses have kind of this also really distinct and driving bass beat, but then you watch the performance and you see him, I don't know, doing his chest pumping. I don't know. It's off-putting, I gotta say, for me personally. So I'll put it in the I like it, but both of his efforts can be in this category. Yeah, let's keep him there. Oppa, however, fantastic again. Greece really knows how to just work for me. This is so incredibly dynamic. I like how the verses are really kind of dark and moody, while also having this bright undertone to it. And then you have like the playfulness of the song, how it uses like this cell phone type of sound towards the ending to just kind of use the same melody that they have established in such dominant fashion before. It's a playful little touch that I just always love at the end there. Also, a very great performance again. It's a fantastic choreography surrounding the main singer, which I've forgotten his name. Just looks great on stage, and I really like the engaging capacity of the song as well, because the chorus is incredibly memorable with the chanting of Oppa, and the melody also really works in combination to this chanting that goes on. And I think the instrumental beat behind it as well is also really hard hitting. So I just think it's a full package of greatness in this one, honestly. I love it. I really do. But something that I love even more is Watch My Dance. Maybe if you've been on my channel before, you probably know how much I love this song. I think the chorus is absolute perfection in my ears. It's just the type of music that I really just love. I get so invested into a chorus like this. It's so hard hitting, so overpowering. I just kind of feel like I'm getting showered with just everything that I want a powerful chorus to be. It has the incredible touch of the Greek instrumental approach, which I'm always fond of, and then you have this incredible vocal performance. I really do think so, which just takes over. It's staged beautifully, with the background in the blue and the columns, and then you have the whole fire or flame show with all of the fire just bursting out in the chorus. Looks fantastic. I like how the backing dancers are really incorporated in this as well. They're so extreme, which just works to the whole like drama of the song. I think a lot of people could see this as a very overdramatic song, but it's just the type of overdramatic type of song that I just love. I also know a lot of people kind of despise the rapping segments of the song. I don't personally mind them. I think they add a nice contrast to the chorus. I understand if the rapping isn't really the most impressive rapping you've ever heard, but I think that it works in the type of atmosphere that they've established in the song. It's quite what do you say? Like it's very spoken, instead of maybe relying on rhythmic impressive rhythm use and this kind of splattering out of words. Instead, it's more spoken, toned down, and also kind of just more reliant on the actual words being spoken. It's more lyrical than trying to be impressive, I think. It just works for the setting of this song. I think that's really what it is. Yeah. And again, just the layout on stage just elevates it to the absolute top tier for me. It really does. I can listen to this song a million times over and I will never get tired of it. I guarantee. And I almost have, to be honest. Among the greatest for me. I understand if you disagree. That's completely fine. Aphrodisiac from 2012. I think this one is kind of on par with Secret Combination, in all honesty. The song is really catchy and really memorable and really upbeat. I like it a lot. The performance is a bit I don't know. I'm not super fond of it. I think it's a bit, I want to look away at times. But then you also have just an incredibly catchy and charming chorus, I think. Yeah, it just works. It's a well-written pop song, and that's mostly what it is, I think. We'll move on. I'm getting less and less things to say about all of these songs because there's so many. 2013, Alcohol is Free. I'm gonna place this up in among the greatest again. I think this is charming, incredibly, incredibly charming. There's such great performers, all of them. They have such an inviting aura on stage, and you can just tell how much fun they're having, which is, you get kind of infected by how much fun they have. Like this whole cheerful attitude, I just get completely overwhelmed by it. Incredibly catchy. Like the hook can be a bit like on the diri diri side with the annoying type. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. I just think it's charming. I think it could have easily been annoying, but I think just the energy and the driving beat behind it in the instrumental makes it into more of a just engaging and catchy in an enjoyable way type of hook. And also the way they perform it, you just kind of get in this happy mood when you see them, and then you have a first impression that's a positive one when you listen to the chorus being repeated so much. Also really like the verses. I think the melodic writing in the verses is really enjoyable, and the instrumental just works in every possible positive favor that it could here. The guitars are incredibly driving and engaging throughout. It's a very hectic rhythm being played or being strummed throughout. There's incorporation of the trumpet. There's incorporation of the accordion. Everything just works, and you also have this. It's not a bouzouki, is it? It's a small guitar from Greece, which just has this incredible sound to it as well. And there's also this segment towards the end of the song, when they turn off the lights and you see all of the instruments glowing. That's a nice touch, isn't it? I love everything about this. I can watch this performance over and over and never get tired of it, honestly. Among the greatest for me, again, I gotta say it is. It is for me personally. 2014, however, is not. This is Rise Up. I think this is fun. It's upbeat. It's harmless. It really is. I'm not a big fan of the whole rapping part with this risky kid guy. I think it's not out of place. I mean, it works in a song like this, but it's just not really good in my opinion. The rapping segment. I think the backing track is pretty good though. It's catchy. It's upbeat. Has a good production to it. A bit of a fun performance as well. I think maybe the trampoline. Maybe you didn't need to incorporate the singer onto the trampoline because it's quite difficult for him to sing while jumping. But that's a minor little nitpick. I think this is a solid one. It's fun. I enjoy it for the 3 minutes. I don't really need to see it over and over again, but for the 3 minutes it goes on, I have a fun time or a good time. Yeah, that's my opinion on that one. And in 2015, One Last Breath, I think it's called. I think the song is quite underwhelming. It takes a while, like a really long while to get going, but the final chorus is quite hard hitting, has a good instrumentation to it. But I think what really just makes this song work is the live performance. It's staged beautifully. It's sung very well. I do like the first chorus a lot. I like how it progresses into it and really just relies on the dramatic touch. I think just maybe from that first chorus, the evolution that leads into like until you reach the final chorus, that's the segment that drags on a bit too much. Because I do like the first minute or so of the song. I think it's very tangible in the atmosphere there. I think it's solid. I don't think it's much more than that. I do think it's like a top type of solid, but I don't really think it's really great because I think the song is lacking a bit of that type of impact that I really wanted to have. But I do think the final part of the song and the first half of the song is, both really good. I just think the middle segment needed a little more to really make it a bit more interesting. Maybe some more variation in the instrumentation could have been nice in this one, to be honest. Just my personal feeling there. 2016, talking about variation in the instrumentation, because here we have a lot of that. We also have a hook, which I don't really like. I do like the whole atmosphere of the song is really nice, and it's very playful in the way that it's written as well. The progression towards the end is quite impressive, to be honest, like how the tempo switches and, different segments being thrown at you, which are kind of unexpected. I just think the hook that keeps returning is really, I wouldn't say poor, but it's just not something that I quite like. I think the English lyrics might be a bad choice. Maybe I guess they want to make it more accessible, but then you needed to kind of have the lyrics be a bit more interesting. We're the rise of the rising sun, dance with us and have some fun is not a very good lyric, I think, to kind of work with this atmosphere that the song tries to create. So I'll put it in I like it, but because I do like the ideas that they have in here with the instrumentation, but I don't like the hook. So I'll stick it in here. In 2017, this is not for me. This is Love. I think this is incredibly underwhelming. Nicely staged. That's something. I think the maybe like the verses are pretty okay. I think the opening is quite strong. Like it sounds great with the production quality of it, but the chorus has a pretty poor production quality at the same time, which is quite odd. And it's a hook that I'm not very fond of. I think it drags out a bit too much. The lyrical content is not that strong either. They could have definitely written some more interesting lyrics, I guess. I usually don't care that much, but in this one I just think that nothing is very interesting about it, so they need to kind of find something that really grabs me. And I kind of haven't found anything at all. Which is a shame, but I mean, why would they care? It doesn't need to connect to me, as long as it connects to enough people out there, and they did go to the final, so who am I to judge? But yeah, this just isn't for me. I don't find anything particularly that I enjoy particularly much in this song. So yeah, not for me. 2018 is for me. I think this is a really great one. I think the song is like almost perfect to what it wants to be. It has a world building, a word that I use way too much when I try to explain why I like certain songs, but it really is for the case for this one, that I think it has a world building. It takes you to the own setting that the song tries to establish. The language works in its favor. I think the Greek language just works in this setting as well. And the instrumental is well produced. It has a great variation of sounds to it. The sound design is also solid. I guess it just fell apart when you saw it live performed on stage. The staging is very minimalistic, which is quite odd because the year before they were quite ambitious with the staging, and then the year after they basically had nothing, which is a shame because I do think this is a far superior song, which interests me way more, but it is what it is. I think this is a really great effort still. Would have wished for a better result for it, but it was, after all, in the incredibly difficult semi with so many good songs. So, a shame. Now we come to Better Love. Song-wise, this could be up in among the greatest for me. I think this is a perfect pop song. I really do. Production quality on this one is sublime. I really do think so. The way that the song progresses as well is incredibly captivating, I think. They throw in new ideas throughout, which are just really tangible. Verses are strong, but the chorus, like the impact of the chorus, the driving drums that really just join in, so hard-hitting, so palpable, just kind of shock me when I hear it. You know, they're so hard and punchy, and just works with this melody that the chorus also has. I love it to bits. I really do. However, when you see it on stage, it is kind of a mess. It's a bit all over the place, and I don't really know what they were going for. The backing vocals are quite underwhelming, I would say. They're a bit shouty, they're a bit screechy. Voices just that kind of collide with each other when you see it or when you listen to it live, which is a massive shame. It drags it down tons, I really do think so. Because if I listen to this in studio cut, I can't find a single flaw with it. I think it's among the greatest. But when you see the performance, I really just have to drag it down, because I never go out of my way to watch this being performed. Whenever I want to hear this song, I would always put on the studio cut, never watch it live, which is a shame. I think I'll drag it down to really great, because that's how much the performance actually kills it for me. If we're just judging the studio cut of this song, I would say that it's among the greatest for me, personally. But I never watched the live performance, which is a shame. 2020, what happened here? I have no idea. I guess I could be the odd one out here. You know, you don't have to agree with this one, but I just don't understand this song at all. I think it's incredibly annoying. I think the instrumental hook is quite repetitive. It has a nice sound to it, like the sound design is quite strong, like the actual instrumental approach. The percussive side of things aren't really anything out of the ordinary. But I just think like the monotonous tone of the melody, the intonation is quite underwhelming. I don't like the verses at all. I don't like the build-up either. I think it's just draggy, not my type of music at all. Quite underwhelming. Not a big fan of the transition work, the structure. Everything just falls flat for me. I can't connect with anything about it. It could be a not for me, but I'm just feeling harsh now, and I'll put it in what happened here, because I always get so hyped up for Greece, and I get nothing out of this one. I really get nothing out of it. I get far more from Last Dance. This is upbeat. It's energetic. It has its own identity with this 80s inspired backing track. The chorus is quite catchy. I really do think the production quality is very strong as well. The live performance, I'm not really a massive fan of it, but I do think it's all right. I mean, it's ambitious, but at the same time, I just don't think it looks that great. But that could just be me, you know? But yeah, the song is pretty strong. I like a lot of the aspects from it. I think that it could be towards a really great. But this one is by far the one that's closest to the solid category, I would say. Yeah. It's not really, for me personally, it's not really on par with these four, but I prefer it over these five, I think. So I'll just put it here because I feel nice, and because I was kind of harsh against Stephanie on the previous song, so we'll put it up here. And Die Together, this is fantastic in my opinion. Such a beautifully written song. I love every single second of it. I love it to bits, I honestly do. I think it's so creatively written with how they layer the vocals in the opening part of the song, how she works with them. Her main vocal is so well suited to working with this backing vocals as well, like the vocal synth that they use. And how the song really just progresses is the main part of it, I think. The first chorus is incredibly like emotionally loaded. I get so invested into the song and I want to hear where it continues to move after the first chorus. Like when the first chorus comes in, I just want to be along for the entire ride here. And they take you on a ride. They sure do. The final chorus is incredibly dominant. The drumming is hard hitting. It's produced incredibly well. The vocal melody I'm really into as well. I think it has a beautiful chorus melody. And I do think, especially like the breakdown segment between the second and third choruses, it's really intimate, and I just get so heavily invested into where it's going. I've talked about this song so much in other videos, so you could watch any of those videos and hear me ramble on more about this one. I do think it's fantastic. Song-wise, I'm tempted to put it up in among the greatest as well. I just didn't really connect to the 100% with the live performance. I didn't quite get that overwhelming feeling that I really wanted it to have. It's flawlessly performed, it really is. I just kind of need to get completely floored in order to put it up here. That's kind of what I feel. And it didn't quite do that. But I still loved it to bits. I really did. It's still a very good category to land in, the Fantastic one, as you can see by the company it has. And this is also my favorite song in this category, so maybe I should put it up here. But I'm gonna put it down here. I don't know why. I just feel like it today. Maybe another day I would change my mind. Anyway, that's my list from the Greek Eurovision entries from 1993 until 2002. Do tell me how much you would change, unless it's, everything. Then you don't have to tell me everything, but do tell me something that you want to tell me. I'll be looking forward to reading every comment, as always. I do like it when you comment on these videos because it's always fun for me to read comments. So do that if you feel like it. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed me rambling about Greek songs for 37 minutes. I hope someone got some enjoyment out of that. I at least did. So hope to see you in the next video as well, where I think we will talk about songs from Hungary. So looking forward to seeing you in that one if you decide to click it. Other than that, have a good one until then, and bye-bye.